Welcome to a series of conversations around resilience made possible through the Landcare-led landscape resilience tools for data and restoration project.
So Fiona Hamilton lives just outside of Billabong with her husband and family, which is an intergenerational farm. Mixed cropping, a beautiful country, flat country. It connects from the Femoral Creek that runs down from the hills to join up with Billabong Creek. Part of that creek line runs through Brabham's Road, which is a high value ecological community, very intact remnant woodland. And since 2014, she's been building resilience into that farm through various projects over the years. First of all, she diversified farm income by creating her company Rowdy Crowd, which is a great initiative. She set aside a big chunk for setting up biodiversity plantings and other environmental projects. So it's not so much about the uniqueness of the property, but the uniqueness of Fiona's approach to what she's doing to build resilience in that environmental space within the property. So first of all, they've embarked down the lines of ANU's dam revegetation project. So I guess how she's making this a difference is when she's doing her revegetation, she plans it in a way of, well, there's no straight lines in nature, so she gets out on a tractor and does what her husband referred to once as crazy woman stuff, and just draws patterns with her ripper across the landscape of concentric circles and wavy patterns with the occasional straight line. Her approach is to create an open woodland connecting Brabham's Road down to Billabong Creek. So within that pattern that she draws, which is amazing from Google Earth view, that you can see, it's conglomerations of big patches of shrubs with scattered tall trees growing. It allows for not only trees and canopy cover and shrub layers, but it's also allowing for ground story and grassy woodland type regeneration to happen through the landscape. But they also use more modernised grazing techniques with managed grazing techniques, and also feedlotting of stock and drought feedlotting of stock, so that when seasons are drying off, they have the ability to control the ground cover and make sure that they're still got income, but they're also protecting what they've got for the future. All too often plantings are very heavy on the canopy cover and some shrubs, and we don't provide enough light for the ground cover species to actually come in or be planted and survive in that environment. So Fiona's really focused on creating this open woodland as opposed to a tree planting.
I guess to protect country, we've been very mindful of the country that we are lucky enough to be living on. To protect it, we've changed some of our farming methods and the way that we deal with living on this land, having been through 20 years of very dry, with the occasional downpour of rain and the results of all those different climatic changes. I guess we've tried to maintain ground cover is the biggest thing, to make sure that soil stays where it's meant to be, that it's not moving in any way. We've just embarked on trying to create a chain of ponds effect from one end of the property through to the other, because we drain that 10,000 hectares behind us from the Junee district through to what's our boundary, being Billabong Creek. So in doing that chain of ponds, we're creating a corridor for wildlife. So yeah, I guess that's been the biggest thing that we're trying to create, is that corridor and that chain of ponds to slow the water down and to clean up our water. We have very heavy silted water. So in creating those areas that have reeds and grasses leading up to the edge of the dams, that it's filtering out hopefully a lot of that silt and raising the water quality, which is raising the quality for our stock as well. We've fenced off all our regenerated area just to keep stock out of them because we have stock sheep, so they will graze too heavily amongst young trees. The absolute success is, I think, the rate of survival from the trees that we've put in. It doesn't look like a lot because we haven't planted them as traditional tree line type plantings, but they've pretty much all survived. You know, we've got probably 80 to 95% survival in different little plots and areas. But in another 20 years, when you've got big trees there and little groups of hopefully self-seeding local shrubs, that yeah, it will look like it's a natural environment, not a man-made one. The biggest sort of light bulb moment was, I think, just coming out of 20 years of drought and dust storms. And I just did not want to see another grain of our soil blow down the road. That was probably, I just felt that as a farming enterprise, we needed to keep our topsoil, and my husband as well, it's not all just me. We just felt that we needed to protect what we have, and we can't let it do that again. Even if it is another 20-year drought, we need to drought-proof the farm and our management practices to enable us to survive that and come out of it looking a lot better than what we did the last time.
Murrumbidgee Landcare Incorporated delivered this project in partnership with the Cultural Landcare Network. The project was made possible through the Federal Drought Fund's Resilient Soils and Landscapes grants program.